lot of study and practice here on Earth. Since the 1960s, American astronauts have studied and trained for their space flights right here at NASA's Johnson Space Center in Houston. That work starts in classrooms. Then the astronauts get hands-on training in this building, the Space Vehicle Mock-Up Facility. The facility is 8 stories tall and 2 football fields long, big enough to hold full-scale mock-ups at the International Space Station, equipment for training on robotics and future space vehicles, and 3 mock-ups that were used for space shuttle mission training too. The work done falls into 1 of 2 main categories: to train astronauts for their missions at the International Space Station, and to design the equipment and procedures needed for future deep space exploration. The mock-ups of the International Space Station take up about 1/3 of the floor space. Inside, American astronauts and their crewmates from Russia, Europe, Canada, and Japan get a feel for the layout of the space station and familiarize themselves with the practical aspects of life in space. Everything from how to respond to emergencies to learning how to operate the kitchen and the toilet. Astronauts practice in the American modules, the Japanese and European laboratories, and the Russian modules and the Soyuz spacecraft, which carries crew members to and from the station. This same hardware can support astronauts after they reach the station, too. If something breaks in space, engineers here in Houston can troubleshoot the problem and develop repair plans and techniques that will be relayed to the crews when needed, just as they did most famously during Apollo 13. For spacewalk training, there's the Precision Air-Bearing Floor, where air pressure is used to make station equipment weightless and easier to manipulate. And the Partial Gravity Simulator, for a taste of what it's like to float while you work. The other hardware in the building helps the NASA specialists who are designing and developing the missions of the future, starting with Orion. Managed here at JSC and being built and tested around the country, Orion will take our astronauts to an asteroid, the moons of Mars, and one day, Mars itself. The Argos trainer simulates the partial gravity of places like the moon or Mars to help develop the tools astronauts will need to work in those environments. The 6 Degree of Freedom dynamic test system simulates 2 bodies in space, both in motion, to support development and testing of docking or berthing systems. A second, larger air-bearing floor is used to simulate driving or spacewalking on an asteroid or other larger body. Other robotic tools that will help us live and work at these other destinations in our solar system are being developed in this area too, along with the space exploration vehicles. The rovers, which astronauts will use to drive on the surfaces of these faraway bodies, are housed and worked on here, but are not being tested just down the road in JSC's simulated Mars and Moon Yard, or the desert of Arizona. We invite you to explore this one-of-a-kind building, where NASA is preparing for the space exploration of today and tomorrow. Welcome to the Space Vehicle Mock-Up Facility.
All right, ladies.
How do we know
सीखे પછી ઉપર જાય સિમ્યુલેશન
So they go inside and do
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the astronaut training facility. What you're seeing is one of the largest classrooms in use for our scientists and astronauts and engineers. In addition to the activities performed here in the high bay area, scientists and engineers are working behind the scenes to keep the space program current and moving forward. They are planning and developing new hardware and training procedures, which will be used by our astronauts on the various mock-ups you see down below. Now, directly in front of us are the mock-ups and trainers for the International Space Station, or ISS. Among these include the living quarters, laboratory modules, storage modules, and an airlock that our astronauts use to exit the ISS for spacewalks. A partnership of 16 nations from international space agencies provide and operate the elements of the ISS. The principals of these include the United States, Russia, Europe, Japan, and Canada. Now, if you look out at each module, you'll see a large black rectangle with the name of the module on it. In the upper right-hand corner of this rectangle, you will see a country or multiple country flags. This indicates who built that module. So here near the middle, you have Zarya, which is Russian for sunrise. In the upper right-hand corner of its name tag, you'll see United States and a Russian flag. This means that it was built as a joint project by both the United States and Russia. To your far right, up high, you will see the logistics module with a Japanese flag on it. This indicates that it was built solely by Japan. So you can look at each module and get a sense of who built what. Now on your far left, you will see a large black floor with a mission.
Que no toques el vidrio, no manches
He's still a senator from Ohio. Ven nada más. No, mi chavo, no saben operar una grúa.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, down near our first stop, you'll see the nose portion of a space shuttle orbiter. This is our crew compartment trainer, or CCT. It can be rotated into both vertical and horizontal positions to simulate launch and landing procedures. Now, we used to have another CCT, and we also had a full-scale mock-up of the space shuttle, but these were removed from this facility because we